When you actually think about how it feels to see a UFO, it is completely mind-blowing. The reason why is because we're seeing something that we've been told for decades isn't supposed to be there. It doesn't fit into our normal convention of what is reality. And because of that, I have never really seen a person who sees a UFO and then just kind of shrugs it off like it's no big deal. Usually, either somebody's trying to explain it away, or if it is one of those situations where it is absolutely undeniable, most people are forever changed by that. It's true that when you have this experience with UFOs, it truly changes your perspective on everything, including reality. Suddenly, seeing these things are possible. Most people start researching things and start looking into the topic. The same thing kind of happened to me in the Mount Israel experiences in 1998. I would have kept going with it had it not been for the fact that I became Muslim in 2001, 2 months after 9/11. I had a friend who was Muslim at the time, and what they were saying on the mainstream news didn't make any sense to me. And that kind of led me on this quest for the truth, which I'd always been on. I'd studied Mormonism, I studied with Jehovah's Witnesses, I studied Catholicism, probably every form of Christianity you can think of, and nothing ever really fit to me. So when I came across Islam and I started actually reading the Quran, there was a lot of it that spoke to me. And I became Muslim 2 months after 9/11. I was Muslim for 6 years. I learned to read and write Arabic. I could recite the Quran in Arabic, and I was actually working on becoming a Hafiz of the Quran. A Hafiz is a person who has all 114 chapters of the Quran memorized in Arabic. I had 33 chapters of the Quran memorized in Arabic towards the end of my time as a Muslim. Now, the reason I left Islam was because as I started studying Islam more and more, I learned about the methodology of tafsir. And what tafsir is, it's how you're supposed to interpret the Quran. See, most Muslims can hide behind the fact that the Quran was revealed in Arabic, and Arabic has an ambiguity to it. So like one word can mean like 10 different words. So some people who understand Arabic will try to say, well, no, that's not what that word means. It means this. But when I learned about tafsir, which is the methodology to interpret the Quran correctly, and it goes like this. The Quran is the authority on interpretation of itself, first and foremost. Second to that is Muhammad's interpretation from the Sahih Hadith, which are the verified sayings of Muhammad. Third is the companions of Muhammad. And then lastly, it's the scholars of Islam and the agreed upon consensus of what it means. So when you apply that methodology of tafsir, the Quran is no different from the Bible. I used to tear Christians apart for all the scientific inaccuracies they had in the Bible and all the contradictions. What I didn't realize is that the Quran has the exact same scientific inaccuracies and contradictions. You just have to actually understand how to interpret the Quran based on the methodology of tafsir. So that was one of the main reasons why I left Islam. The second main reason was I started learning about evolution. I started finding out about all the evidence there was for evolution. And one of the things that helped me on this path was my brother, who was Muslim with me, had left Islam. And he actually posed a question to me when I was using a lot of Islamic apologetics in some of the arguments he was making towards me. He said, would you accept that from a Christian? And he had me. I was like, nope, no way would I accept my own argument that I just gave him, because he was proving the Quran had contradictions in it to me, scientific and with itself, which I won't go into because I'm not looking to debate any religions. I used to do that all the time as a Muslim, and believe me when I say I am very far away from that now. I do not debate with anybody about religion. You believe what you want to believe, that's fine with me, just as long as you respect that I don't want to hear about it. As far as I'm concerned, religion is responsible for every single bad thing that's ever happened in this planet. And that's my opinion. I left Islam in 2008. I was Muslim for almost about 7 years. And I wanted to become a sheikh, which is a scholar. I was even going to go to a madrasa in the Middle East to study for that. Once I started ignoring what Islamic scholars and, other people would say criticizing evolution, and I actually studied it for myself, I realized there was quite a bit of evidence for evolution. And that's part of the reason why religious people hate it so much. If we fast forward to 2023, when I start learning about the Annunaki, come to find out that evolution doesn't have all the answers either. Turns out 200,000 years ago, Homo sapiens sapien just came out of nowhere. There's evidence in our genes that our telomeres have been capped to shorten our ages. There's evidence all over the place. We were existing hominids on this planet, and then we got genetically modified. And one of the biggest pieces of evidence of this is the fact that there's a 2% variation amongst the races all over the world. That is only possible over millions of years of evolution. It's not supposed to be possible in 200,000 years or 150,000 years. But for a long time, I just believed evolution and pretty much an atheist. I did go into a spiritual direction where I was looking for the true source of what the creator of the universe was, because based on my research, even after I left Islam, it was clear that there was some sort of intelligent design to the universe based on quantum mechanics and quantum physics. The best explanation I found was there was something called the source. And it turns out that jives with a whole lot of stuff related to the Sumerian tablets and the origin of humanity. And when I found that stuff, felt like I finally had found the truth. To a person who doesn't know me, it may seem to you like I'm just wishy-washy and I go where the wind blows. But the truth is, I've always been looking for the actual truth. Like, what is the true part of the universe? What is the true part of humanity? And I'm telling you, when I found out the evidence and learned about the Annunaki from the Sumerian tablets, it was as though I had been looking for that story my entire life, and it just completely changed everything for me. It's the reason why I do ET contact now, to be honest. It was learning about the Anunnaki, the true story of humanity, and learning from Paul Wallace just how many things in the Bible, stories about ET contact. And that's Paul Wallace from The Fifth Kind TV, another person who heavily influenced my path to reaching out to ETs.